Welcome back, everyone, to the Pits To Podium Formula One channel. And today's topic is a rather emotional one because, of course, Williams is a team that has been etched into our memories for a very, very long time. They've been in Formula One for as long as anyone can remember. And along the way, they've had so many beautiful moments of winning championships, races, and just producing moments like these that actually stick on with you for a very, very long time. And now, I think for the first time, I think not for the first time in the recent history, but they're at a situation where they could actually be facing the end, where there could actually be no light at the end of this tunnel. So to discuss this topic, I've got Kunal Shah with me, one of the other partners in the Pits To Podium venture. Kunal, firstly, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's an emotional topic of discussion, and Williams has always been this powerhouse privateer team in Formula One, taking on the mights of the big manufacturers and so on. And I hope you are doing well as we take a deep dive into what's happening and is it really happening for the good?
Yeah, exactly. It's a rather strange situation with Williams because, of course, there have been times in their past when they've actually faced a lot of financial insecurity. When the Walter Wolf Williams takeover just sort of happened, I think in around 1970, in the late 1970s, Williams were in a bad situation back then as well. Then, of course, the championship wins arrived and some financial stability was there. But I think it's the first time since a new era of Formula One, since aerodynamics have been more in focus, I think past the 21st century, that Williams have been in such a bad situation. And Kunal, one thing I'd like to bring out is the fact that it's not really a sudden downfall. It's been a slow and steady one that has been happening for, let's say, the last 20 years. Because I think the last time they won a championship was in 1997. That's a long time ago.
That is indeed a long time ago, and it has been a steady downfall, as you've been saying. And the unfortunate part here is that they still have the championship-winning Mercedes power units, at the back of
Hmm.
their car, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other teams would give anything to get access to those units. So it's literally been the lack of development around the new era that's there, and it's been, we've also seen how the technical management challenges that Williams have faced in the recent times with Paddy Lowe and the like. So a lot of instability at a lot of quarters that's eventually led Williams to the issue that it currently is at.
No, absolutely. I think a lot of people, the popular perception, of course, is the fact that Williams are so far back down because they don't really have the budgets to spend. And definitely that is one of the major factors involved because Williams, in comparison to the other teams, their budget just kind of pales into insignificance. I think the correct figure is around 130, 140 million euros. But Kunal, just coming back to the point, the fact that we're actually having a budget cap somewhere around those lines that can actually go down to, say, around 135 million euros in the coming years, just how sad is it to see that Williams just on the edge of getting there, just trying to survive, and if they can get through it, they may actually even be successful if they just kind of have a right management atmosphere in the team. So again, with the budget cap coming in pretty much around what they're spending in, it just feels so sad to see them perhaps go away at this stage.
Personally, yes, it's an emotional moment to see Williams finally do something that they claimed they never would, because we've seen the Williams family over and over again say, we'll never sell the team, we'll never get a stake in, we'll run it the way we've been doing so. I welcome you guys to see the documentary on Williams as well. And it's
Oh,
really
what a
emotional.
fantastic one.
Yeah, it's very good narration of a very inspiring story again, right? And in another video we've spoken about Peter Sauber, but Sir Frank Williams, Patrick Head, and the likes have done some really interesting work in bringing up privateer Formula One teams, right? But coming to the decision to eventually agree that, okay, yes, we need more money, I see it as a positive one, because what the new regulations of Formula One have done is that they've made a very conducive environment from a sporting and a commercial side in Formula One to attract new interest, right? And Williams have turned around and said, yes guys, over all these years we've done it by ourselves with our own money, doing what we do best. And let's remember, they have a fantastic legacy on offer, right? And now they're saying Formula One is ready more than ever for newer investments, and we are ready more than ever to have a new investor, have a new management coming and leading us out of these troubled times. And the way I see it is like, any successful business, even outside of, the realm of motorsport, they would have probably taken a similar step. They know they have a good legacy, they have a great brand value, they've had lots of successes in the past, and now they are just wanting to bank on all of that along with the new regulations to say, can we raise more money to lead us into the new era of Formula One? And I think that's a very positive step from Williams.
No, absolutely. I think if you don't really adapt with the times and if you don't really stick to what's going on in the recent world, I think you won't really be able to survive and sustain yourself. And as we mentioned in the Sauber video, it's all about trying to have that sort of longevity. The game theory says that you need to be in there for a long time. You don't need to beat someone theoretically, but you just have to be there for as long as you possibly can. And that is something that Williams have been doing for a very, very long time. But now, this situation that they face themselves in is something that they haven't really faced for a long time, to be honest. And right here is the question that comes up is what's next? So do they actually go for external investment? Of course, Ross Brawn has recently mentioned that some big names are interested in investing into Williams. So what happens next? So do we have external investors coming in? Do we have, say, for instance, the management changing? Or do we have just Williams shutting down altogether? I think, in my opinion, the right thing would be to actually have external investors try and change the atmosphere of the team a little bit, because businesses, you need to have the same ethos in the end, but the kind of turbulent atmosphere that Williams have been facing for a long time hasn't really helped out in putting them where they actually should be. As Kunal rightly mentioned, the case with Paddy Lowe and having a lot of instability in the management, that really does not help. And then it just brings on the question of, is Claire Williams the fit person for the job? Of course, there's nothing wrong with all her characteristics and her abilities. In fact, I really love her tenacity and her aggressiveness that is involved in kind of doing the job at Williams. But somewhere down the line, things haven't really been the same since she took over in the last 7 years. She's displayed that sort of aggression and she has that go-getting mentality. But somewhere down the line, there has been a lot of management instability at Williams that has actually brought them down to the level where they are today, Kunal. So what do they do from here? How do they get back from that? And do you think that a new management, if it comes in, they will keep Claire Williams or should they go for someone else?
It's important what you mentioned about adaptability, because that's the one thing I'm going to speak about first, because the talk of the paddock is that Williams has sort of failed to adapt with, the evolutions that Formula One teams have seen, in the recent times. And, we've seen a lot of technical instability with the management that we've said. But the most important part being that when the last Concord agreement was signed, and this was, during Bernie Ecclestone's era, Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes were the ones that got the major chunk of Formula One's revenues, whereas Williams and McLaren weren't as lucky. And that was because they hadn't won since a really long time. And apart from just losing out on the finances of, being a Formula One team, the benefits that you get from the championship bonuses and so on, I think that also sort of made Williams a little politically irrelevant in the sport. So it's mixes of all these pieces of the pillars that have sort of started falling apart. And that's been the issue, with Williams. I don't necessarily think it's only one part to blame, so to say. But I get this feeling that, with a new investor coming in, and I really hope that, what Ross Brawn is saying is not just for PR value. I hope that a new investor coming in is able to, use the brand, use the existing value of, the Williams F1 team in the world of Formula One, to resurrect the business and then take it forward from there. Because, they still have some fantastic engineering expertise, and they still have the world championship power units at the back of their car.
No, absolutely. Williams, I think, with the right amount of investment coming in and with the right management, so to say, I think it's a team that can really be transformed. And if not getting back to their glory days, they can certainly come back to fighting for races. And just to get a better idea on the kind of political instability that Williams and the other teams can face, I think one book that you guys should certainly watch out for and read is, it's called Total Competition, Lessons from Strategy in Formula One. I think coincidentally, it's written by the author. The author, Adam Parr, was also the team principal of Williams for, I think, 5 to 6 years. So he just describes the situation of politics in Formula One a lot better. And of course, they dive deeper into the problems at Williams and, of course, what really happened to the Toyota team, because they had major investments coming in. And as Kunal mentioned, political irrelevance, that's the thing that counts as well. So not being able to mold the rules according to your own abilities and your own capabilities. So that is one thing that really has hurt Toyota, and in fact is hurting Williams at this stage as well. Right, so that was a good...
I'm going to add one point about Adam Parr. And the reason why people should read the book even more is because Adam Parr was thrown out of Williams, reportedly again, because Bernie Ecclestone didn't like him. And you know what they say about people who Bernie Ecclestone don't like. They have a really good alternative view that we all should be aware of. So thanks for bringing up about the book, Soumil.
No, it really is a fascinating one. Well, those were some fantastic points, Kunal. Thank you so much for being a part of this video. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a like and share this to your friends and family members. And of course, if you have any feedback, any positive suggestions that we can work on, try to improve, do feel free to leave any comments. We'll be reading them for sure. Once again, thank you so much for watching, folks, and see you in a later video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.